welcome to Parasol Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're here for another Monday Minisode.
Yeah, Monday Minis. Monday Minis are where we get a chance to kind of dig in real quick and deep into one topic. It's like a shot of espresso. So instead of, a longer form podcast where we're talking about a lot of different things, we're telling many stories, and we're kind of just getting to it. And so today we're going to be talking about 5 questions that you should ask when you're going to a garage sale. And these questions are going to be things that are going to help you break the ice. They're going to help you make connections with the sellers that are going to help you to get the best possible deal so that you're being able to flip your items for more. So you're able to profit more, which is what this is all about.
Now, there's a lot of questions you can ask. So we just narrowed down 5, and you should catch our upcoming themed episode about best practices at garage sales. And then we're going to actually do a whole one that's about negotiating. That's going to bring in more questions in a few weeks down the road. So make sure that you are subscribed, hit that bell notification, and you can like this episode.
Yeah, that's right. And let us know in the comments below. What are some of the questions you like to use or phrases you like to use at garage sales in order to break the ice or make those negotiations happen?
Yeah. So the first question I ask always is, how's your morning? Right. And, some people will be like, good. Or some people just stare at you. But you want to make sure you come in with a great attitude. And there's multiple reasons. Number one, it's you're letting people know that you actually care about them. Like, I'm not saying, you got to be all like, I appreciate you running the sale. No, it's just like, hey, appreciate you being human. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having this sale. And the second part for existing. Thanks for existing. And the second part of that is that you're able to kind of gauge what's gone on before you got there.
Yeah. Yeah. If you just say something like morning, good morning, which there's nothing wrong with that. I usually start with good morning. But then you follow it up with the question because you might still get the, it's very common. Hey, how's it going? Good. How's it going? Good. Mm-hmm. And that's all you get, which is fine. But sometimes you get a little bit more. Hey, how's it going? Oh, it's going pretty good. I love this weather. It's been so long. And they start telling you some small talk. But the thing is that is a good way of making the connection. And you can quickly realize like, hey, this is somebody who, just wants to talk a little bit about the weather or about what the squirrels in the neighborhood. And if I kind of, while I'm looking at stuff, kind of get this conversation going, maybe crack a couple jokes to them, it's going to help you a lot more than just morning. And then you walk past them as if like they don't exist at all. So you never know. It may or may not offer more. Well, one of the things you can dig a little bit deeper is you can say, so have you been swamped this morning? Or has a bunch of people already come through here? Or I bet it was crazy this earlier, huh? Little things like that where you can kind of gauge, like Orlando was saying, with how it's been. So if they say something like, no, it's been really quiet, you're actually one of the first people here, it's a good sign. Like you want to hear something like that. That gives you a lot of information about whether or not there's going to be a lot of good things there. But if they say, oh my goodness, we've already sold half the stuff. People came here really early and picked up that's going to give you a clue. It's going to give you a clue that probably the most common reselling stuff has been picked through and already picked up. Depending on your area, there's a lot of resellers who only buy furniture in our area, and they quickly they buy up all the furniture, they move on. And so that doesn't necessarily mean like they might be like, yeah, I've already sold half the things. They might just be talking about their furniture is gone. So you still want to do a quick look and see if there's anything else that's there. But by hearing that, you can kind of say like, okay, I'm just going to do a much quicker glance through. And if I don't see anything, then I'm going to head out. Because if they've already said they've sold tons of stuff, if they're like, yeah, we've already got rid of all of the electronics and all the toys are gone. And okay, red flags. I probably am just going to look quickly and I'm going to move because I want to beat the, whoever it was that beat me here to whatever the next garage sale is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's basically the next question, right? Did you get swamped this morning? And I asked as a follow-up because what ends up happening is, like you said, they may just say, oh, my morning's good and do the small talk. But then they can tell you, oh, we had people here at 4:30 in the morning, or we had people here at 5 in the morning, or, oh yeah, I had all these Hot Wheels and they're gone. And you're able to gauge, again, the whole reason behind this is you're trying to figure out where I'm at, what's going to happen here. Is this even a place that I should stay here? Now, another question I follow up with, this is our third question here is, what's leading you to sell these items? right? Or you can ask some other question like, why are you selling these? You got to kind of, feel the flow. These aren't like hard and fast. Like this is exactly like robotically, you must repeat these.
Yeah, don't pull out the sheet and say, next I say this, right? Like, you obviously it's a conversation, but yeah, this is a good one to have for sure.
But the reason I ask this one is it gives me an idea of what they're looking for, right? So if they're saying, hey, we're moving, tomorrow, we got to get rid of this stuff. Okay, that you're able to negotiate a great deal. They say, yeah, we were going to donate this, but we thought we'd give it one last try, and whatever we don't sell, we're going to give it goodwill. Then that gives you the opportunity to, one, either try to get a really good deal, or maybe you take the risk and come back at the end and go, hey, or I was wondering if, I could just take these off your hands, or maybe that'll tell you to leave the business card that, you buy the items that you really think are profitable, and there's the other items you're iffy about, but at the right price you would buy. And so you tell them, hey, give me a call at the end, or maybe that gives you a signal to come back later. Right. If somebody says, oh, I'm selling these because, I really need to, make sure that I pay my rent and so on. That to me is usually a red flag for me because they're going to want to get top dollar for it. Right. And I struggle negotiating when it's in that difficult of a place. I don't.
We have hearts.
Yeah. We have hearts. So, when it's that scenario, then you kind of know, okay, they're going to try to get top dollar or so on. If they tell you, hey, we're trying to raise for a fundraiser, then that probably tells you, you probably don't want a super low ball, right? Because you don't, you could, but you're also trying to help out people. So all those things give you an idea. One of my favorite ones is when I go to a place and listen, I 100% believe people need to stay married, but sometimes divorces happen, and it's the reality of garage sales and estate sales. And so when I go and it's the spouse that, is the one that
better ex that's getting rid of
the better ex. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. The better ex. And they just want to move the stuff. They don't care. They want to get rid of it. I've gotten some sweet deals off of those.
Oh yeah. That's the dream for sure. It's kind of sad, but it is a dream.
Yeah, it's just the reality of things.
And then one of the things too that's really useful, and again, go back and listen to our last Wednesday episode where we talked about some of the things that happen at garage sales.
Our future one.
No. You're doing it again, Orlando. You're doing it again.
Am I off weeks?
Yep.
Okay.
So, but one of the things you can do is say, what were you hoping to get for this item? Or what were you looking to get for this item? Now, that's just another way of saying how much for this. You can phrase this a lot of different ways. You can say like, what were you thinking on this? Or there's a lot of different ways you can see it. But by saying something like that, like, what were you hoping to get for this item? You're going to get a good idea. Again, how much they're willing to move on items. Do they have a nice low starting place? Maybe the very first item you pick up, they're like, I don't know. And well, you tell me. And then, you're going to be in for a little bit of negotiating. Maybe they really know what they're doing with negotiating, or sometimes it's just because they're willing to get rid of stuff. We talked about in our last Wednesday episode that it's useful not to do this for every item. You want to try and get together a bundle of items as opposed to individualizing each item, because then when you have your bundle, they're going to remember, well, I told you 5 for that, and I told you 10 for that, and I told you 4 for that. So it's a little bit harder to negotiate, but it's not a bad idea to pick up something, maybe something you're interested in, maybe something random. Maybe you see, I don't know, like a humidifier on their table, and you're like, oh, what were you hoping to get for this? And if they say $1, or just listen, if you're listening to other people ask, how much for the shoes? How much for if they're saying, I don't know, 50 cents, $1, $2 for that, you're in a good place. If it's a humidifier that you can get for $15 at Target, and they're like, I was thinking like 10 for that, then you're probably in a pretty rough place. Don't spend too much time making the bundle. Maybe make a small bundle to see, will they negotiate with you, and then add to it. So again, that's going to give you a little bit of information, because the worst thing you could do is to have built the bundle that's like a dream bundle and realize that they're wanting eBay prices.
Happens all the time. All right. And the last one here is, do you have anything you haven't brought out yet? And I end up having my best scores when I ask this question, right? Because, sometimes they don't bring stuff out because they got really rushed that morning and they got swamped. Or sometimes they don't bring it out because they were like, I don't know if I want to sell this. And then the morning passes. And the fact that you ask that question gets them going, you know what? Maybe I want to sell this. Or you seem like the right buyer, right? That's going to go to a good home. Whatever the case is, I've had amazing scores. I've scored all kinds of vintage toys. I've scored, game systems. I've scored vintage clothing, all kinds of Harley stuff back in the day. So always ask that question because you never know. There might have been a morning where they just got rushed and they forgot to bring a box out. They ended up bringing everything out. And then as they saw stuff selling and they're like, hey, maybe we can make room in the garage. They might go, you know what? Let's get rid of this other stuff.
And a lot of times you want to be specific with it. I mean, it can be general if you don't know, but if you were able to pick up a bunch of really good fitness equipment from them or really good electronics or really good, whatever it is, toys, then that's when you can kind of really narrow in and say, do you have any other fitness equipment you were hoping to get rid of? Because then they might say, oh yeah, we didn't pull out that stuff from the back, or I wasn't even planning on getting rid of this, but would you be interested? And those end up being really good for you. Now, if you just say anything else you haven't pulled out and they just start, pulling out stuff that you have no interest in at all, they're like, yeah, I've got, these, all these old, pants, and they're just like not anything that's valuable. And you're just like, okay. And like, well, hold on, I got another box of pants too. And they just keep bringing out a box of pants. And you're like, okay, I don't want to see any more pants. So, be specific if you can, if you've been able to find something, but if there was nothing there and you were kind of hurting for garage sales, yeah, be general, kind of.
I go the other route because you never know. Like that third box of pants might be some big E Levi's that you didn't know about, you just never know. Anyways, hopefully all these questions help you out when you go to garage sales. Make sure to tune in to our other YouTube episodes about garage sales or any of them. Subscribe to our channel, smash that like button, hit that bell notification. And with that being said, make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.